Okay. Yeah, it's one of the not so known melodies, really beautiful one. Okay, so we're just for anybody who's starting to watch. We're not going to have a class next week because it's Hanukkah. Apparently somebody's here. Shalom Aleichem. So we're going to try, or they're sitting a bicycle, one or the other. Going to try to finish the lesson today. It sounds like Koach.
Yeah, sorry.
Wow, Koach! Look at you getting stronger and stronger, just like your name. Okay, so the Fuash Lema. What's your full name, Koach? Ben what?
Linda Lee.
Ben what?
Linda Lee.
Linda Lee. Okay, the Fuash Lema. He's getting stronger and stronger every week. So I was saying the next week we're not going to have class because it's Hanukkah, and today, Bezat Hashem, we're going to finish Torah Aleph. Of course, we never finish any Torahs in Likutey Moharan. We only reach the end and then continue. But my goal is that we get to the end of this lesson, like the end properly, and then when we meet again in 2 weeks, Bezat Hashem, we'll start a new lesson. So we're learning from. We're learning from Torah Aleph. A quick review. Rabbi Nachman says that all the prayers and requests that a person has, they reach Hashem through Chen. And then he breaks down Chen. Chen, of course, means grace, charm. And he says, basically, somebody comes and asks you for something, and they ask in a nice way, then you can go get some, or Arya, maybe bring some for him. Then people want to do a favor for you, and the same thing with Hashem. But Hashem is not a person, so it's not like Hashem is saying, oh, if you ask me in a nice way, then I'm going to do this for you. Hashem, Rabbi Nachman is saying, you have to have Chen. Breaks down Chen. He says, Chen is Chochmah, Chet is Chochmah, Nun is Torah. And what is Chochmah? What is wisdom? That a person has to look at how is Hashem acting in the world at this time. And it's not always easy, especially in a time of war like we're in. Every morning when I get up, one of the first things I do is I check to see if any soldiers were killed, and I read about them, and I look at their pictures, and I think about them, and it's really heartbreaking. Really, really heartbreaking. When you realize that these people are younger than me, they have many of them either married with a kid or two, or not married at all. They're very young, some are 19 years old. It's just heartbreaking. So how do we look at the sechem, b'chol davar? Some things, I don't think I'm able to see that at this point. Other things I can see. And so I gave examples in the previous lessons of looking at the godly wisdom in each thing. When you do that, you have a new perspective on life. So he brings these two things. He has the chet and the nun. So that's the new perspective. By looking at the sechem shebachon davar. I'll put for you.
Let's go.
Oh, you just want this for the pizza? Okay. And then the nun is the Torah. So he talks about learning Torah by forcing yourself to learn Torah. And that you come to Hashem and you say, listen, I didn't really understand everything. It wasn't easy for me, but I learned Torah, and that's the chen. That is the grace, that's the charm that Hashem wants you to come to Him with. If you get cold, you can close the door or the window. And then Hashem wants to listen to your prayers, not necessarily He'll answer your prayers. Okay, so that's a summary of where we got up to until now. Now he brings Rabba Bar Bar Chana, which I wanted to look up. Rabba Bar Bar Chana, and I forgot to before the lesson. But Rabba Bar Bar Chana has all of these wacky stories in the Gemara. And apparently the greatest Kabbalistic secrets are hidden in these stories. And Rabbi Nachman brings many of them, possibly all of them, in the Likutey Moharan. I think I once heard somebody say that he brings all of them in the Likutey Moharan. And he brings them as a summary for his lessons to show you the secret in the story and how his lesson is revealing the secret in the story. So that's where we are now. We're at the story, which is very short. It's in Aramaic, so I'm not going to read the Aramaic because I don't understand it, but thank God there's a translation here. So it says, Oto gam she'rotze v'lahatbiya et hasfina, the same wave that wanted to sink the ship, nir'a she'olech lefanav nitzotz shel esh levana. Within this wave, it appears that inside of it there's a spark of a white fire. Vehikinu oto, and then it says here Perush Rashbam that Nachmanides is the Rashbam, right? No, Maimonides.
That's
Someone else.
Nachmanides is Ramban.
Nachman uses everybody. I mean, he had everything memorized.
Okay, never mind. Rashbam. When David watches this, he's going to send me a WhatsApp message on Thursday or Friday because tell me who Rashbam is. Okay, but maybe it's just Rashi. Esh levana umalach mazik hu. What is this white flame, this white fire? It is an angel that causes damage. And of course, the angel that causes damage is the Yetzer Hara. Vehikinu oto, and they hit this fire, the makel shechakukim alav hatevot, with a stick that was engraved upon the stick the words Ekiyeh asher Ekiyeh, I will be what I will be, which is one of Hashem's names. Gala, so this wave that we had in the beginning, hu ha-Yetzer Hara, it's the Yetzer Hara, she matratam kagam gavoa lahatbiya tekdusha. What is the goal of the Yetzer Hara? Is to be like a huge wave that comes and sinks the holiness within you. Dematbea l'sfinata. Hu chen v'chashivut. So when it says to sink the boat, what is the boat, the ship? It's the chen v'chashivut. It's the grace and importance. Ki sfina hu lashon safun v'chashuv, because the word sfina, which means a ship, is the same word as safun and chashuv, which means important. Ki a-Yetzer Hara rotze lahatbiya Ulashpil chas v'shalom, because the Yetzer Hara wants to sink and to humiliate, God forbid, or to bring down the grace and the importance of the Jewish people. So to summarize, we want to strive to connect with Hashem in a holy way. The Yetzer Hara is doing its best to prevent us from doing that. And when it does that, it takes away our grace and our importance of the Jewish people, and then prevents our prayers from reaching Hashem. B'bchinat malchut kedusha. When it is at the chen v'chashivut, the importance of the Jewish people, this is the kingship of holiness. We talked about that many times before. Ulahorido ulahashpilo lamata elakum, and to bring a Jew down to the level of the non-Jews. And we know that. We know many Jews that you didn't even know that they were Jewish because they act so much like a non-Jew. And that's bringing down the chen v'chashivut, the importance and the grace of the Jewish people. That a person reaches a place where they know that they're a Jew, but nobody even knows that they're a Jew. And how does the Yetzer Hara do this? By tempting a person with desires and transgressions. Then a person loses their brain, loses their mind. They lose their ability to understand. What is the sechem? What is the intellect? It's this wisdom of seeing the holiness, meaning that if I have something non-kosher in front of me and I have something kosher in front of me, I'm able to choose the kosher thing because I have a wisdom of holiness. B'bchinat Torah, and this is connected to the Torah. She'ina me'ira lemalchut kedusha. That, why does it say eina me'ira lemalchut kedusha? I'm not sure. I think it does. It shows the Malchut Kedusha, the holiness, the kingship of holiness. So I got it. So it does Eina. So what it's saying is that when a person follows the Yetzer Hara, even though they have this godly wisdom, the ability to know and to choose the right thing, which is connected to the Torah, if they don't listen to the good inclination, they listen to the evil inclination, then even though a Jew is connected to holiness, they don't get to see the light of the holiness. And then they don't have this chen, this grace, that they come before Hashem when they ask something from Hashem. And what is the chen? It's the connection of chokhmah and malchut, meaning connection of seeing Hashem in the world and learning Torah and following Torah and doing mitzvot. Okay, so now we're back to the story here. And it seems like it's following this, I guess the wave is following a spark of a white fire. The Yetzer Hara in the beginning looks like a white, bright fire. Because in the beginning, Sheba Yetzer Hara, when the Yetzer Hara comes, Etzel Adam Yirei Shamayim, a person that has an awe of Hashem, lefato, lifto, in order to tempt the person, umitlabesh atzmo b'mitzvot. How does the Yetzer Hara tempt a person who's already got his head on the shoulders and following Torah mitzvot? The Yetzer Hara does it by saying, let's do a mitzvah. The Yetzer Hara is telling you to do a mitzvah. Because if it's going to say, let's just flat out do a transgression, a person's not going to listen to the Yetzer Hara, of course. But and so it encloses itself in mitzvot. And tricks a person in order to trip the person up so that they think that they're doing a mitzvah. Kagon shemesito leharbot bechomrot yeterot. Like, for example, it tells a person, which I mentioned before, that it says, where's the joy in Shabbos? Eating meat and drinking wine. So the person says, I have to eat a lot of meat and I have to drink a lot of wine. And the Yetzer Hara says, no, it's a mitzvah, right? So drink up and eat and go, let's go. He says, that's how the Yetzer Hara trips you up. שנראה כמצווה. It seems like a mitzvah. וזה בא לידי עבירות. And through this a person will come to do transgressions. כביטול זמן קריאת שמע ותפילה וכדומה. Because it might lead a person to skipping saying Shema or davening and the like. And he's being very gentle there when a person gets drunk and overeats. Just like, you're going to oversleep. So be careful. And this is what's connected to Eish Levana, the spark that was in this fire, this white fiery flame. ואפשר לטעות בה שהיא ספירת חוכמה. A person, because they're seeing the white flame of the Yetzer Hara, they might think that they're looking at Chokhmah, at wisdom, Loven Ha'elyon, the supernal light, the supernal fire, or Sfirat Chesed, or the attribute of kindness, Shehi Begivun Lavan. So I guess the color white is connected to Chesed, it's connected to Chokhmah, and basically what he's saying is that the Yetzer Hara will trip you up in such a way that you'll really believe that you're doing a mitzvah, when in fact you are hurting yourself and you're doing a transgression. Af al pi chen, nonetheless, be'emet ha-Yetzer Hara malach mazik hu. The truth is that the Yetzer Hara is a damaging angel. Ki be'emet dvarim elu, because these things, she'ha-Yetzer Hara mesito la'asotam, that tricks a person in order to do them, Hem or averot mamish, they're either outright transgressions, or mechematam yavo la'averot, or as a result of them, a person will come to do a transgression. Uminachim, okay, vehikinu oto b'maken shechakuk alav ekiyeh asher yekiyeh, and they hit this flame with a stick that was engraved on the stick, the letters, I will be what I will be, which is one of Hashem's names. Hainu sheikar achna'ato shel Yetzer Hara. How do we mainly subjugate the Yetzer Hara? Shelo lit'ot achar mitzvotav, so that we don't follow his mitzvot as if they were mitzvot. Hu al yidei Torah. It's through the Torah. Shehi kula shmotav shel HaKadosh Baruch Hu. All of the letters of the Torah in different combinations are the letters of Hashem's name. So the whole Torah is basically one big Hashem's name. Ki nitan likot otiyot haTorah betzirufim shonim, because you can read the letters of the Torah in different combinations. Shem shmotam shel HaKadosh Baruch Hu, that they are the names of Hashem. VaTorah hi b'chinat vav. The Torah is connected to vav, the letter vav. Ki lechot okan vav tvachim v'rachban vav tvachim. And this is where Chabad gets the square lechot abrit, the square 10 Commandments, because he says here, this is Rabbi Nachman saying, that the dimensions of the Lechot Abrit, the 10 Commandments, the whatever it's called, the tablets, is Vav Tvachim across and Vav Tvachim wide. So it's a square. And the whole thing with the arches is a Roman thing. From the movie, I think they had them before the movie. I think it's from the Romans.
I
the
saw
time of the Romans. But
I saw a thing on the I saw a documentary.
Yeah,
and they
probably that movie also helped.
Yeah.
Helped to spread the myth. Okay, so he says the Torah is Vav, and what is Vav? Nimtza she'aTorah nirmezet ba'ot Vav. The Torah is hinted at in the letter Vav. Zeh b'chinat maklot. This is the sticks. Ki ot Vav aromezet al Torah tzorata ketzorat maken, because the letter Vav, which is a straight line, which hints at the Torah, is in the shape of a stick, which is a straight line. And it's engraved on there, Hashem's name, I will be what I will be. Hainu shmot b'chinat Torah shehi b'chinat Vav. That is Hashem's name, which is engraved on the stick. So you understand what he's saying. I'm going to say it in just a second. V'avav utzarat maken, and the Vav is in the shape of a stick. Shehi kula shmotav shel HaKadosh Baruch Hu, which are the names of Hashem. So he's saying, how do you hit the Yetzer Hara with the stick? You hit it with words of Torah. You hit it by learning Torah. When you're learning Torah, you're subjugating the Yetzer Hara, because the Yetzer Hara can't be present at the time you're learning Torah. The second you stop learning Torah, the Yetzer Hara will come. You can get distracted learning Torah, but if you're focused on learning Torah, the Yetzer Hara won't be there. And not only that, after you learn enough Torah, eventually it changes you, and the temptations that the Yetzer Hara used to come to you with won't be there anymore. Each person according to the level. Hainu she'atorah kedusha hi machniat Yetzer Hara. That is, the Holy Torah subjugates the Yetzer Hara, the evil inclination, she'rotzeh la'asot ha'adam meshuga mamish, that wants to make a person completely crazy. And now we understand what is this craziness that the Yetzer Hara wants to do. It doesn't want to just make us crazy. It wants to make us crazy because if we had our head on our shoulders, we wouldn't be doing transgressions. Chas v'shalom, ki ba'al avira hu meshuga. The person who's doing a transgression is crazy. K'mo she'amar b'tenu zichron v'chaz his blessed memory said, Ein ha'adam over avira, ela im ken nichnas bo ruach shtut. A person doesn't do a transgression unless the spirit of folly, that's one of those words that you learn in translations, ruach shtut, meaning a feeling of carelessness and doing stupid things enters into you. Because a person that's thinking clearly won't do a transgression. And a person that's not, well, they have ruach shtut, the spirit of foolishness, of haughtiness, of stupidness. Harei she'ashigaon nichnas v'ba'al ha'avira v'goem lo listot miderech ha'yeshara v'nechona. This craziness enters into the person who's doing the transgression and causes that person to go off the straight and right path. La'asot ma'asim sheyovilohu lish'on tachtit, to do things that will bring a person to the lowest places of hell. And anybody who's been sad, depressed, in really bad places, so we know what it is to be in this sha'ul tachtit. And we do that through our choices in following the Yetzer Hara. And the way the Yetzer Hara gets us to make these choices is not by saying straight out that I'm going to have you do a transgression, but it says I'm going to have you do a mitzvah. I'm going to have you do more of a mitzvah, and more of a mitzvah. Just like a crazy person needs to be hit. That they won't be stuck or hurt by their craziness. So basically, just like in the old days when the therapist was a 5-finger slap. So in Rabbi Nachman's time, you saw a crazy person and gave him a hit to knock the craziness out of them. Now, of course, now you'd be put in jail in America for doing that.
And here.
I don't know, but over here, hopefully not. But that's what he's saying. So the crazy person needs to be hit. Ki af she'enam mevinim shehem mazikim, even though they don't understand that they're causing damage. I guess the crazy person is causing damage. So in order to stop them from doing it, you have to hit them. Ulam mevinim et ha'ke'ev hamakeh hanimna'im melahazik beshigaonam. So I guess you hit them, they don't understand the reason, but they understand the pain, just like, I guess, an animal, in the sense that understands that now it has to pull out of its craziness. Lasum aleihem shemot, but really what you're doing when you hit the person, you're hitting them with names, kedei ligaresh et shigaon, shenichnas behem, names of Hashem, in order to take out the craziness that went into them. Ki הרבה פעמים השיגעון בא משום שנכנס ברוח רעה. Because many times, where does this craziness come from? Because an evil spirit has entered into a person. So, nowadays most people don't really think about evil spirits, but we do know about evil influences, social peer influences, and other types of influences, and those things could bring a person to really going, in a sense, crazy. Va'al yedei shmot ve'kmeot shehi yotzet mehem. And so how do you get this craziness out of a person? Through the names of Hashem and through amulets, it takes them out. So he's saying, this is how things worked in Rabbi Nachman's time. And now what we're saying is that you learn Torah and you work on getting yourself on the straight path, and that's what subjugates the Yetzer Hara. כמו כן, ממש התורה שעוסקים הוא בבחינת מקלות ושמות. So too, also the Torah that deals with sticks and names. שבזה מקים ומכניעים את היצר הרע, and through this we subjugate the יצר הרע. ומגרשים מן האדם את השיגעון והרוח שטות שנכנס בו. By learning Torah, we hit the יצר הרע, and we pull out this craziness and the sense of foolishness that entered into a person. כי ישנה בתורה גם בחינת מקלות, because also in the Torah there's the aspect of sticks. שכן לימוד התורה מביא את האדם לידי יראה. Learning Torah brings a person to having fear or awe of Hashem. שהיא מכה את האדם, which hits a person. שלא יעשה מעשים שהוא yadua כי הם אינם טובים. By learning Torah, you learn you're not supposed to do this, you're not supposed to do that. It's like getting a hit. It's like hitting a crazy person that understands that they're not supposed to do these bad things anymore. And they won't follow the desires of their heart. Which this stick in hitting the person are all the names of Hashem. There are holy names in the Torah. שמגרשים את האדם, שמגרשים מהאדם את רוח השטות, שעל ידה נדמות לו העבירות כמצווה. That just by learning Torah, there are words in the Torah that will pull out of a person this sense of folly that causes the person to think that transgressions are actually mitzvot. B'bchinat, when this is connected to, we hit it with a stick that had the names of Hashem engraved on it. Nimtza she'al yedei haTorah. It follows that through learning the Torah, Adam zocher litgaber al yetzer hara, person merits to overcome the yetzer hara, ulehagbir et malchut kedusha, and to increase the kingship of holiness, meaning within each of us is kind of like two kingships, two sovereign entities, and the Tanya, he talks about Ir Ktana. Every person has within them a small city, and the city is surrounded by a wall. And our job is to keep the Yetzer Hara from coming into the city. If the city is attacked, we have to push it out. So he says, here he talks about Malchut Kedusha, Malchut the Sitra Achra, of the evil energy. We all have this within us. I'm guessing even tzaddikim on a certain level, unless you're like the highest level tzaddik, maybe like Reb Zusha, I don't know, that there always is this Yetzer Hara and Yetzer Hara Tov. It's not necessarily the Yetzer Hara and a tzaddik is tempting the tzaddik to do a transgression, but it could tempt the tzaddik to be a little harsher than he needs to be, for example. And then, when you're pushing to do the right thing, to stay connected to the right thing, to do Torah and mitzvot in the right way, not the way of the Yetzer Hara, then you're connecting Chokhmah, which is wisdom, and Malchut, which is sovereignty, which is the Torah, V'zeu b'chinat chen, and this is this chen, grace, ve'al yedei zeh mitkablot tfilotav u'bakashotav. And through this, a person's davening and requests are accepted up above. Ke'eit yalbish, now we're on the last paragraph of the lesson. Ke'eit yalbish et hasagot shel Torah zo. Now he's going to enclose the lessons that we learned in this Torah, the pasuk shepatach bo betchila, in the verse which he opened with in the beginning, which is Ashrei Tmimei Darech. Blessed, and now it's amazing how when you get to the end of the Torah, you see how, wow, he really does connect it to what he started off with. So he started off with Ashrei Tmimei Darech Holchim B'Torat Hashem. Blessed are those that are pure or innocent or honest in following the path, that follow the path of Hashem. And from that little phrase in Tehillim, he pulled out this whole Torah, And now he's going back to that and explaining how the whole Torah connects to that. V'zeu haremez b'pasuk shehuva le'il. And this is the hint that was given in the verse up above. Ashrei t'mimei darech. Blessed are those that are pure or honest in their way of following the path of Hashem. Ashrei lashon istaklut. When it says Ashrei, blessed, he says that's connected to looking. Because earlier, a couple of weeks ago, we talked about Ashorno, the word Ashorno, which comes from Sefer Amidbar, Targumo, the translation of that is Astekelbo. I will look at it. So this is how Rabbi Nachman does it. He says the word Ashrei and Ashorno, these are connected to the same root, and since that means I will look, then Ashrei also means I will look. T'mimei darech, the straightforward ones that walk on the path. B'chinat Yaakov Ishtam. This is connected to Yaakov, who's called the Ishtam, the pure soul. Shehu b'chinat Asechem Kanal, which is the intellect, which is the godly intellect, as mentioned above. V'kevan sheYaakov hu b'chinat Asechem nikratam, and since Yaakov is connected to being able, he has this pure, godly way of seeing the world. That's why he's called Tam, pure and innocent and complete. Im kein hamilah tam meramezet al hasechel shebechol davar. And so, if that's true, then this word tam, pure and innocent, hints at being able to see the godly wisdom in everything, which we learned about from Yaakov. Yaakov was able to see that. And also Yitzchak, and also Abraham. Nimtza shetevot tmimei darech. So we see the words, the straight, the pure ones walking on the path. Hints at being able, when you're walking on the path of life, you're able to see God's hand in everything. And of course, not when it happens. Only after you recover from the shock and have a little time to think it over and try to figure out how is God involved. Unless you're on a very high level, and then you're able to see it right away. Because in order to merit to see God's hand in everything, you have to nullify your understanding of the world and your ego. That this is a type of manchut, which is sovereignty, which means I have control over my body. I decide what I'm going to think. I'm the one who understands the world. When you nullify your malchut, then you merit to get the malchut of kedusha, the kingship of holiness, the sovereignty of holiness, and then you can see Hashem's hand in the world. That is to merit to see Hashem's hand in everything. This is connected to Yaakov, as the pure and innocent one. Zochim al yedei haTorah. And Yaakov, of course, Ishtam Yoshev Oalim, he was sitting and learning in the tent, meaning he was sitting and learning Torah. And by learning Torah, a person merits to have this vision in order to see Hashem's hand in the world. And this is the meaning of they go in the way of the Torah of Hashem. Because when a person learns Torah by forcing themselves, because when it says holchim, that they're going, it means that they're forcing themselves to learn Torah. By doing this, you give power to the kingship of holiness within you. Nun, this is connected to the letter Nun. The kabel min hasechem, to receive from the holy wisdom, to be able to understand Hashem's hand in the world. Shehu b'chinat chet, which is the letter chet. V'azai naaseh chen, and then we have the letter Nun and chet, and it creates chen, which is grace, which is charm. We need kablim divorav kanal, and then your requests are accepted up above. V'azai nitale achen b'chashivut shel Yisrael, and then the charm and the importance of the Jewish people is elevated. V'kol tefilot v'bakashot mitkablim, and all of the davening and all the requests are accepted up above. Nimtza perush pasuk ashrei ההסתכלות תמימי דרך ושכל שיש בכל דבר, ואין זה מגיעים על ידי ההולכים בתורת השם, לימוד התורה בכוח. So now he's going to give like one extra line of summary. Ashrei means looking. Tmimei derech means looking at the godly hand in everything. And then, through this, a person reaches the point where learning Torah, by forcing themselves, they reach a place of changing and elevating, and their davening is accepted up above. Okay, that's the lesson. Any questions? Before I tell a short story, you want to ask something, Carl?
I think it's interesting that you said that. Which thing did he pull up that it said that the entire Torah is God's name?
Where's the proof for that?
Where did he? I mean, yeah.
So he said that from the story that they hit the Yetzer Hara, which was the white light, with a stick that was engraved Ehyeh, Asher Ehyeh, which is one of God's names.
Yeah, but you said that you read in it, the text that
the entire Torah. Yeah, you said that
is God's name.
The whole Torah basically is one name of Hashem.
Okay.
And within that, there's also other ways of putting the letters together and having other letters, other names of Hashem.
Which I think is interesting because you have in one place in the Talmud where it says that if you don't have a minyan, all you have to do, you have 9 men, you
bring
can
a Sefer Torah.
Open up the...
Yeah, I think that's in a place like if you're you're from Nebraska?
No, Oklahoma.
Oklahoma.
3 states south.
Sorry. Didn't mean to offend Nebraskans or Oklahomans.
We have a big rival one between...
Okay, so let's say you're in Oklahoma, and there's like one shul there, and there's no hope of you going out in the street and getting somebody to join the mitzvah, to join the minyan. I think that's when that idea, I've never seen it in action. Never. I've always, anytime I've been to a minyan and there were 9 people, we simply davened the things that you could daven on your own, but we couldn't daven as a minyan. Nobody took out a Sefer Torah and counted it. But everybody talks about it.
You opened up the ark and the Torah
Apparently.
considered a person.
Apparently. Okay, so I have a short story for you. You want to ask a question?
I was just going to combine the two and say, you see...
you see the Torah is on the level of a person.
And that, it's... Never mind.
No, I want to complete the idea. What's the rest?
Well, when he said that the entire Torah is God's name, so, God and the Torah being, so therefore, never mind.
Okay.
Making a minyan.
Okay.
Actually making it with Hashem.
Making it with Hashem. But still I don't know. I've never seen it in action. Anytime that I've been with 9 people, we needed a minyan, they say, well, you can use a Sefer Torah, and then we never use a Sefer Torah to make a minyan. Have you ever seen that? No.
I've seen it twice. And I've heard about it at least 3 other times.
Okay. So Rabba Bar Bar Chana, of course, everybody knows, was one of the grandsons of the Baal Shem Tov. He was a successor of the Baal Shem Tov. He was the big Rebbe of Russian Jewry and Russia, Ukraine. And of course, the Rebbe Elimelech of the Zhanks was the other Rebbe of the Polish Jews, and the two of them divided up the Hasidic Empire after the Maggid of Mezrich passed away. The Alter Rebbe was also a student, and they were all peers, but these were the 2 big Rebbes. So Reb Baruch, there's many stories of Reb Baruch, and the first night of Hanukkah, he lights the shamash and says the brachas, and he lights the Chanukiah, and he's sitting there with the Hasidim, and he tells them, let's sing Nigunim. They're singing, and all of a sudden the light of the neshama, of the shamash, just disappears. The candle, like the flame, disappears. There's no smoke, there's no sound, there's no nothing, it just disappears. And then all of a sudden it comes back. And then it disappears, it comes back. And every time that it disappeared, the shamish, the attendant, wanted to light it again, but the Rebbe, who was sitting there with his eyes closed, he shooed him away. He's like, get out of here, leave it alone. And the Hasidim would see the flame was coming and going. And the Rebbe said, let's go, let's keep on singing. And eventually, After many hours, the flame came back and stayed, and the back door of the shul bursts open, and this Jew comes in looking like in really bad shape, beat up, freezing, and covered in snow. And he says, "Let me tell you what happened." And he says, "I was traveling, and I know the way to Mezhibuz, and I've been on this way many times. It started to snow, and I didn't expect the storm to get so bad. And at some point, these thieves stopped me, and they tried to steal all my money, but I didn't have any money. So they just beat me up. And then I was able to escape, and here I am riding with my horse, but my horse has no idea where to go. It's pitch dark, it's snowing, it's freezing. We can't figure it out, and all of a sudden this light flashes in front of the horse, and the horse runs after the light, and then the light disappears, and then it comes back, and disappears and comes back, and that light guided me the whole way back to Mezhibuz, to the Rebbe Shul here." So then the Hasidim understood what happened to the light of the Shamash, that it was disappearing in order to go and help this Jew find his way in the dark to come back to the Rebbe Shul. Simple, sweet story. I like it. And, they say the stories that the more you believe in them, the more they can affect you. And some people have a really hard time believing in stories like, I can't believe that would happen. But Ba'al Nes lo makir be'neso, right? That's the phrase. The person experiences a miracle doesn't acknowledge their own miracle. So a person that experiences a Hasidic story doesn't realize that they're in a Hasidic story. La 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 la.